welcome to the Tulsa Sound Podcast. Hi, I am Mr. Eric, your host, and this is my co-host, Mr. Oscar Padron.
Hey.
How are you, Oscar?
I'm your host, Oscar Padron. Welcome to the Tulsa Sound Podcast.
Man, it feels so good to be back in the studio.
Feels great to be in the studio.
Audience. Thank you up there.
Thank you, audience.
Yeah.
Thank you to our fans in Canada. Hi, guys.
Hey, yeah. Well, here's the deal. We've got a super show this month for you. And we've got a couple of little housekeeping things that we want to get done first, but we do want to tell you our special guest tonight, Oscar.
Oh, man, it is my pleasure to bring you Mr. Jacob Tovar this evening, ladies and gentlemen. He will be joining us shortly.
So, how has your week been, Oscar?
It has been crazy. We've had, in this week, we've had a double sold-out show at the BOK Center.
Yes, we did.
Huge country artist out of Owasso, Oklahoma.
Who was that? Bryant?
Yes.
Oh, that guy.
Zach Bryant.
Yeah.
Matt Teagarden was on stage with him, and so was Jared Tyler.
No kidding.
At the BOK Center this week, and Jesse Aycock.
That is incredible.
It was a fantastic event. I was out in the street party stage.
Oh, yeah.
Outside.
How was that?
It was hot. It was 116 degrees, but we had 4 bands, and everybody was great. It was a good time, and we want to invite everyone out to the street parties outside of the BOK Center before the big shows. Guys, come out. It's a free show. It's a free concert.
That again.
And, in the history of things, Turnpike Troubadours once played that outside stage and then eventually came back in to play the inside. So,
that's right, they did. And you know who ran sound for them out there?
Who did?
I did.
Hey, Mr. Eric.
Thank you.
Member of the Tulsa
Well,
Sound
the first
Mafia.
10 years, that was my gig out there, and we did a lot of people out there. We done them wrong. We done them wrong. But anyway, well, tonight I wanted to kind of sort of catch up with everything. We've had a lot of shows in Tulsa. Oscar's been out doing some filming, some taping. We bought a new high-def camera.
Oh, yes.
We're figuring out how to use it.
Went out last night and saw Travis Kidd and Brandon Clark play out at Craw Pappy's, and man, those two, if you haven't enjoyed this duo, please go out and see this duo. They are often at Maggie's Music Box, or they're often at Craw Pappy's. Of course, BC and the Big Rig every other Sunday at the Mercury Lounge for the big band. So please go out and see Brandon Clark. Go out and see Travis Kidd, which will soon be on the show. Travis Kidd will be a guest soon. So will Brandon Clark. Hopefully, we'll get them together here on the show.
There you go.
And there's been a lot of great stuff happening lately.
I'll tell you, Nicky called me last week. He's like, man, if I can't play bass, at that TU gig, can you cover me? I said, yeah, don't worry about it. But he was able to make it. That's great.
I heard they had to kickstart his heart, Mr. Eric.
Well, boom, right.
So there were so many Cougars at the show.
Yeah?
Yes. Todd Minor Gunter had to defend his front lawn from these Cougars. They were aggressive.
Oh, my Lord. Well, anyway. Well, hey, talk about shows. I wanted to mention a show. My best friend in the world and former drummer, Mr. Cousin Mo Lester Mobley, as you know him, or Les James, his professional name. He is my friend in San Francisco, owns the Riptide Club there, which is a big country and as red dirt as San Francisco gets, anyway. And
great. Hello to our friends in San Francisco.
And yeah, well, I brought
Hey, what do you got there, Mr. Eric?
I brought their poster because I never
go. Get this on the camera
go.
so it's flat, not shiny.
No. Here, I know what I'm doing. I've been in television for years. So, yeah.
I've been watching television for years.
Well, this is a poster from when they played at Unit D over in West Tulsa a few years back. But anyway, they played their 30th anniversary gig out in San Francisco, Northern California.
Fantastic.
At a place called Rancho Nicasio, and Slim Jim Phantom.
From Stray Cats fame.
That's right. So,
man, I sure do love me some Slim Jim Phantom.
Oh, buddy. Well, they have a lot of following out there, and when I listen to Jacob Tovar, I'm reminded of Red Meat. They both have a true to the roots approach.
It's roots country.
Roots country
music.
So what we're going to do right now, folks, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to be back with our guest, Jacob Tovar, and some of his music, and we're going to find out everything there is to know about this young man, and then we'll know, then you'll know this is the Tulsa Sound Podcast. And welcome back to the Tulsa Sound Podcast. I am Mr. Eric.
And I'm Oscar Padron. Welcome back.
And we are on set now with our special guest for this evening, Mr. Jacob Tovar.
Jacob Tovar. It's nice to be here with you guys.
Thank you, audience.
Great to have Jacob in the studio. Great to have you here, man.
I'm
Good
happy to be
see
here.
you.
Happy to be here.
Great
Thanks.
to have you here.
Oscar, Eric, Oscar, Eric, Oscar.
You know
Got
us.
it. I got you. I got you.
We'll write it on a piece of paper.
I already got it.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, the beer's arrived, so we're going to have craft services running in here in a minute, but we are glad to have you on the show. We've wanted to have you on the show since we started this project.
We've actually talked about it for a minute.
Yeah,
for a while
for
now.
the last year or better.
Yeah,
I've
the
been
last year.
approaching.
Well, Oscar's
Jacob
been hitting me up for a while about it, and I know you have too. Every time we
Yeah.
run into each other,
Well, I
we
remember-
see each other around town quite a bit just through the music scene.
I first met
Yeah.
you out at Maggie's, probably it was about 2 years ago. And I was really impressed. First off,
I've already been at Maggie's 2 years.
maybe it wasn't
Damn
that
it.
long. It was only a year and a half ago.
Now, are we censored on words here? Or can I
No,
cuss a
you
little
can
bit?
say
anything
Oh,
you
all
want.
right. Well, son
This
of a
is the
bitch. I can't
freaking
believe I've been-
internet. Beep.
Right.
Craft Services, God bless you. God bless you.
Normally,
Oh,
I want you to know I would normally have a Miller Lite, but my wife is drinking White Claw, so we're promoting White Claw today, and I'm going to drink one because that's the only thing
White
to drink.
Claw Jacob will be with us this evening.
White Claw Jacob will be here.
So you have been playing now, ladies and
Perfect.
gentlemen,
Pork rinds have arrived.
pork rinds have arrived.
We got cigars. We got pork rinds.
Don't tell Mama Cash.
I don't think
Be rolling in her
I don't think
grave.
Cave's going to like that. That's going to be an awful noise. The crunching, it's the awful.
You know, folks, here at the Tulsa Sound Podcast, we strive for a professional production. Not. So anyway, we're just here to have a good time tonight and learn some things about you that maybe some of our folks out there don't know. And the idea being is that we want a lot of folks to come out and see your shows.
That's
One
very
thing
nice of you.
that I can
Yeah.
tell this audience without a doubt, the state of country music today is an interesting one. I have in my career watched it mutate from George Jones to kind of what we have today. There are some guys who have really gone out of their way to keep it traditional, and some of those guys have been some of my favorites. Trace Atkins and Ricky Skaggs come to mind. But it's tough in today's world of pop goes to country to be true to those riding in the back of a Cadillac roots. How
Right,
do you do
yeah.
it?
Riding in the back of the Cadillac?
Yeah.
I
Well,
would love that.
I
Sadly,
guess,
I don't do that.
let me phrase that question a little bit.
But how I do, I know exactly the question you're going to ask, so or where you were going with that question. But we'll say you got to add more to that. Like, I mean, Dwight has been keeping
Yes.
it. I mean, one of the in the
Yes.
'80s, even in the '80s. I mean, all those guys that Dwight was one of the real forefronts, giving that Bakersfield sound and still
Right.
keeping it alive.
And Dwight had a
Also, one thing I would love for you all to know about me, since this is a knowing about each other. I hate hearing myself.
Oh, it's
I
terrible.
think
I'm sure
it's
terrible for
I think
you.
it's something that every artist kind of dreads, unless you're I've heard of people and actually inviting people into their living room, being like, "Oh, I'm turning themselves up and being like, hey, here are my stuff."
Yeah, that's
But
me.
I dread it. I get sick because I'll sit there and be like, "What was I thinking? Why did I
Well,
do that?" And
I will-
Played it in the background
I
here
will say
because,
this,
otherwise
But a
it's
lot of
so
guys, we
silly.
did have a lot of guys. I mean, Clint Black, Randy Travis.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys really kept country music going. Vince Gill, my gosh,
Yeah.
Vince Gill, one of my favorites of all time. You know,
Well, and
we have a lot that kept it alive for a little bit. But you're right. Around the '90s, starting late '90s, we started transitioning to a situation where, definitely now, I would say that we have definitely ventured over with when people say country music, and I get a lot of requests. I get requests for things where I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, you just heard what I do, and then you think I'm going to do this song. I mean, it's very much become more pop, and I'm a massive pop fan. I love pop. I love hip-hop.
I'm going to go ahead and apologize
I
for
love
those
everything.
folks right now.
No. I mean, no, there's no apology because I love all that stuff myself. I love hip-hop. I love all genres of music.
Eric's got a little hip hop
Yeah.
over there, doesn't he?
I love, yeah.
Eric's got
Oh,
some
he's gonna
hip
type
hop,
something in,
some
yeah,
hip hop beats
I
going.
I love all genres of music, but we'll say that to say certain things are country music now is kind of we're really pushing on pop rock here at this
Yeah,
point.
it
They
is.
are doing pop songs in a country
Which is
accent.
nothing wrong with that.
They're
To
doing
quote
hip hop
Seinfeld,
songs.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, well,
There's nothing wrong with
there's our
that.
Seinfeld sound effect right there.
Going well, yeah. We're gonna
Yeah.
add that in later. Well, I know
Not that there's anything wrong with it.
when I
Yeah,
lived out,
yeah.
when I lived in
I
the
support
Bay
their
Area,
alternative lifestyle. I really do.
And so that, well, when I lived in the Bay Area,
Modern country artist, I support your alternative lifestyle.
I listened to Dwight Yoakam every day at work.
Yeah.
And
He's one of the greatest.
people,
Big fan.
they got used to it, and they say, "Oh, it's okay. He's from Oklahoma." You know, it's like, and because folks up there.
Dwight's from.
I don't
Well, no,
think Dwight's from
I
Oklahoma.
was from.
Oh, you're from
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
It was
You
okay
were from
for me to listen
Boy, I was
to.
about to call you out and say,
No,
Dwight's
he's
not from Oklahoma.
Bakersfield full on. I
But
know
Dwight
that.
does have a Tulsa connection. Pete Anderson
Yes,
spent
he
a
does.
lot of time
Yeah,
in Tulsa.
a lot of time in Tulsa,
And
yeah.
Pete Anderson, of course, is Dwight's manager. He was also Brandon.
Was. Yeah,
was,
right, yeah, was.
and he was also Brandon Jenkins' manager.
Well,
So
I did
another
not know
Tulsa
that.
connection. Yes,
I did not know
absolutely.
that.
When Brandon Jenkins went to Nashville, both times that he went to Nashville, he had representation underneath Pete Anderson, and that didn't make anything any easier for Brandon. But he, eventually battled his way up and got in on those songwriter rounds, the important ones there in Nashville, and been thinking a lot about Brandon these days. So
Yeah, I miss him.
there's our Tulsa connection.
I didn't get to know
Dwight.
him as much as I would like to, but I respected.
Well,
him
our sound
tremendously.
engineer Kate is on one of his records.
Yep.
In fact, we
Well,
happen to
I'm
have that
very
Brandon
familiar
record
with
with
it.
us
Yeah.
tonight.
Queued
So
up tonight. We
I
may just be
understand.
hearing that.
We were good buddies, but I didn't know him. Like I got to know Tom Skinner and some of the
Right.
Steve Pryor and all the guys. I got to really know, like have moments with where you're like, okay,
I will go.
now we're brothers.
Okay, now
Well,
Yeah,
I,
I wish
I
I
will
had
go
those
on the
things.
record of saying this. Say this. Pryor hated hearing his own music. You couldn't get him
Oh,
to
yeah.
listen to it at
I know,
all. If
yeah.
it was on in the house when he came in, he'd say,
Yeah.
"Turn that shit off."
Yeah.
He'd get mad and stomp out.
Yeah.
He never wanted to hear anything ever. He didn't. No, he just
Unless
didn't do
he's
it.
playing live, then he
Right.
definitely wanted to hear it.
Right.
Well, that's
He
interesting.
turned that up to 11.
Everybody
Oh, yeah, he
has
would.
their
If
way.
there was an 11, Steve
Steve just
Pryor
didn't-
found it.
Yeah, and I had an 18-year relationship with Steve, on and off. So
I did not know that.
Oh yeah. That was my first real gig was running sound for Pryor. So
Wow.
And I knew Steve Pryor before he played guitar when he played baseball.
Wow.
He was just learning. He had
It's
just
quite a
gotten
trip to
guitar.
run around town as a musician, and for everywhere that I run around town, my wife one time said, "You gallivant too much," and I was like, "Gallivant too much?" And I was like, "I think you're incorrect about this." And I looked up gallivant, and I was like, "Son of a bitch!" It's exactly what I do. I literally gallivant from one bar to the next.
Let us order the
and
T-shirt
through
now.
that-
As
Yeah.
Jacob gallivants around town, Mr. Eric has been known to sashay about the city of Tulsa. He is Tulsa's favorite lesbian.
I do gallivant, and I have
Wow.
met. It's fun to. I like to hit bars. I love dive bars, and I love places, and I love finding new music and new talent, and I love all that.
How
all
old
that
were you
part of
when
it.
you first started playing in that type of venue?
Oh gosh, well, I'm going to wrap this up before I go into that because that's a different whole
Yeah.
conversation. But anyways, about the whole Steve Pryor thing, it's fun gallivanting around Tulsa. You're not going to find a damn place that Steve Pryor wasn't. He's not known. In fact, most places there's a picture of him somewhere.
Yeah.
That's how much that guy was everywhere in Tulsa.
Yeah.
It makes you think, I got my places in town that I play a lot.
He's the
he
reason.
had every place in town that he played a lot, and it was a very big privilege of mine to get to do something. I did a stint with him at the Dusty Dog over on Harvard.
Oh yeah.
And we had quite a bit of fun on it. He called it the New Turley Bombs. And I sang, and he played pedal steel when he was there.
Yeah.
And when he was there.
Yeah.
Even when he was there, sometimes I don't even know if he was there. But when he was there, oh my gosh, best pedal steel work ever.
Well, that's Uncle Walter for you, for
Yeah.
sure. And he's the reason
Yeah.
I have a career. I wouldn't be who I am today without Steve Pryor. And not to turn the show into a shrine to the altar
Yeah,
of
I
Steve
know.
Pryor.
It's almost
or
impossible
anything.
not to.
We don't want to do that. We've received some criticism about doing that here on this show in the past.
Then I will digress back to the situation that you asked.
We want to celebrate the things that make us great. And I wouldn't have a career without Steve Pryor. And I say my prayers and thank Uncle Walter for the crazy shit he put me through to get me here.
Yeah.
I guess.
Without a doubt, I wouldn't.
So if you'd like to join the Steve Pryor support group, DM me on Facebook and Instagram. We get together on Tuesdays at the Cracker Barrel, and we will talk about all the shit.
Well, hell, I didn't even know that. Shit. Damn, I got a lot of good Steve Pryor stories.
Yeah, Matt Cole's been leading the group for years.
Matt, God bless him.
Shout out to Matt the King Cole.
How old were you when you started playing in these sort of venues?
Okay, so I'm going to just shoot it out frank here since it's what we're talking about. In fact, I'm going to take a little puff of weed while I do that.
Absolutely.
Well, folks,
here we go.
it's a right-to-work state.
She said chicharrones.
Brought to you by...
I wouldn't do that.
Ryan.
I think it's a very loud noise, honey. Oh, my gosh, he's even crunching it in front of the microphone.
Well, there's just no rules on a podcast.
There is no rules. I need to listen to more of them, I guess.
Oh, man, yeah.
So I was in my late 20s, and my wife and I, digress, go back to the beginning. Been playing music, closeted for a while, always a bedside picker. My wife motivated me to, my gosh, I'm going to get emotional. My wife motivated me to play out. And when she picked Tulsa, she graduated from OSU and said, I'm going to go to Tulsa. I said, my gosh, it's exactly where I want to be. There's a music scene there that I want to be a part of.
Where are you from?
Perry, Oklahoma.
Perry?
Yeah, but Stillwater, we were living in Stillwater at the time together.
Okay.
And I'd lived all over Oklahoma. A lot of years in Texas, a lot of years in Enid, Oklahoma, Tonkawa. Spent a couple
Enid,
years in
the home of
Tonkawa.
the home of the world's second largest grain elevator.
A lot of my teenage years was in Enid, and then from there we went to Guyman, Oklahoma, and then from Guyman to
Michael
Texas,
Hedges was also from Enid.
I know Michael Hedges.
One of the greatest guitar players I've ever seen.
Interesting you would say that. So,
yeah.
Michael Hedges, that's a very good point to bring up. So, at the time, I'd met my wife, convinced her to marry me, which was some work,
Took a lot of money, but
all it took was a little
gallivanting.
all it took was a little guitar work, and at the time, all I was doing was Michael Hedges.
Oh man,
I was doing a lot of fingerstyle stuff. So she says, I'm graduating, I want to move to Tulsa, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to go to Tulsa too. There's a music scene there I want to be a part of. I go to Tulsa. At the time, was only playing fingerstyle music. Very, very influenced by Michael Hedges, and all that style. But it was all new age fingerstyle is what I was doing. Alternate tunings in that vein. I mean, there's so many artists to name: Pierre Bensus and Tommy Amanda. I mean, everybody that you could have named there that's in that. Chet Atkins and those are very standard players, but it's like Michael Hedges was on that. Very much open tuning, using his whole instrument as an orchestra. Right. I mean, he would beat the hell out of his acoustic. It was just, Michael Hedges blew my mind.
Yeah, me too.
And my older brother turned me on to him. And I remember thinking, all right, that's, I'll move here and I'll try to get some gigs. And Jamie would tell me, and she's like, we started having kids. She was like, well, you should be playing out at night. And she really talked me into going to all the open mic nights. And at the time I was doing all fingerstyle music. And the thing is, a lot of artists come to me and they say, Tovar, and they do this to every Oklahoma musician, I'm sure, every Tulsa guy, and they're like, hey man, how do you break into the scene? The answer is go to every open mic night possible.
Yeah.
Go to every open mic night and go to every show that you can go to. And then you run into guys like Jared Tyler, Paul Benjamin, those guys. Paul, I'll never forget, invited me up, knowing that I was going to do a fingerstyle tune or whatever. And I said to Paul, I was like, hey, would you mind if I sing one? I've been singing forever, but never had the balls to sing out in front of people. Just didn't have it. Didn't think I was a good singer. And I sang a song, and Paul leans over and goes, listen, Tovar, this is probably what you need to be doing.
Yeah.
And I sang an old honky tonk song, and he loved it. And then from there on, Paul Benjamin.
All right.
And then from there on, it just went. And Jared Tyler was the same way, big influence. And Jared Tyler's one of the
Jared
greatest
Tyler
vocalists.
just keeps
Jared
getting
Tyler's
better.
so
He just
intimidating
keeps
vocally
getting
that
better.
I never wanted to sing in front of Jared Tyler because he intimidated the hell out of me. He's so good. And then I sang in front of him as well, and it was like it became into that. So in my late 20s, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because I was going to say, you've obviously listened to a lot of Clear Channel radio.
Yeah.
And here's why: because you are able to capture in your singing dialect a style of West Texas that goes back to Wills, goes back to that era when Western music came out, and especially given the fact that you're working in this genre, it's amazing that you have such a great voice for exactly what you're doing.
Man, that was my father. I got lucky. Yeah.
Well, that's super. I also noticed that in your show, at least the one that we listen to recording, none of your band really backs you up on vocals. You're out there all by yourself.
A lot of time, unless I get lucky. Jared Tyler's in my band, or Jake Lynn's in my band backing me up. I mean, those guys sing a lot. Now Nicholas Foster's been singing a lot, and it sounds. I'm a massive harmony fan. I love harmonies, so when you can get them, you can get them. But my vocal inflections are a little different. I do a lot of voice break yodel, and that's what I think you're talking about with that whole West Texas and all that. But it's very much Okie, to be honest. And a lot of that comes in. It's hard to match harmonies to that when somebody's, you never know when they're going to do the voice break. Well, right.
And there's a
Jared's
type of harmony.
great at it, yeah.
There's a lot of different things that lay in behind it. Patsy Cline was great about finding a way to layer these almost jazz-like background vocals in
very much.
And fit them because I've always felt that there's a huge tie between jazz and traditional country that no one wants to acknowledge. They both came from the same place. I completely
agree with you.
They both came from the same
place.
Blues as well.
If you even go back to Jimmy Rogers.
Blues is the bridge between the two.
Yeah.
And when you go and you look at, well, of course, I'm a huge Bob Wills fan.
Yeah.
And going back to the old days when they were started here in Tulsa, they must have been the biggest thing. Well, they didn't have the greatest time here all the time. They were not considered musicians at the time. They were kind of, they wouldn't let them in the musicians union here because they claimed that they weren't playing music. And it seems crazy to us, but back then sensibilities were a little bit different, but they stayed with it. And it's through that sort of traditions that we get to enjoy you guys today keeping that alive.
Oh, absolutely. And I can hear, echoes of Chet Atkins in the things that you do, and I can hear just the echoes of old country roots, the souls of the past. They're definitely represented in everything that you do, Jacob.
Well, I tell a story all the time on stage. I'm big about telling stories on stage. You mind if I turn that down?
No, turn it off. Yeah.
There's a point to where you can't stand yourself so much that all I'm thinking about is like, why am I singing like that? I'm actually sitting over here I'm loving this conversation, but at the same time hating myself. It's a funny thing, musicians, art, I know you guys get it. But it's just straight honest. But my father used to, he'd come back, he would always tell this story, and I tell stories on stage all the time. Normally I lose, but every now and then I went on a good story. Say, what's that signal? Oh, I'm just interrupting. I'm interrupting. Anyways, so my dad would sing to us to sleep. He would sing a lot. We'd go to sleep, and he would literally be like, hell, I'll do a little bit. Now, he wasn't playing guitar, and he actually didn't know that he was doing a voice break yodel, because at that time he didn't study singing, so he didn't actually understand what he was doing. But my father's half Hispanic, and I think it just came out. Yeah. Because my grandfather actually sang mariachi for a while. Okay. So I think my father was accidentally doing a voice break yodel and just didn't even know he was doing it. But the funny thing is, this is a really fucked up song to sing to kids when they go to sleep. But he would literally, now there's a tear in my beer, so I'm crying for you, dear. And he had no idea that when we were kids listening to it, even though I'm sure now I look back at it and I laugh and I'm like, that's a pretty dark song to sing to kids as they go to sleep. But we loved it. He would be getting our back scratched. Now there's a tear in my bed. He was doing the head to chest, voice break yodel the entire time. And I think I picked up on that immediately as a young kid and didn't even know it. And just thought, this is Okie, this is...
Well, I want to acknowledge that Jacob Tovar is a Hispanic part of our Tulsa Sound music scene. I am half Hispanic as well. My father was from Venezuela.
Yeah.
And so it's, Latinos, we are here at the Tulsa Sound music scene. You just don't see us. We're around. We're there.
My people are from Switzerland, but we love it too.
Man, I'm a straight up white boy. I wouldn't claim that, man. I didn't want to run into actual Hispanic people and be like, oh, you claim you're Hispanic? But to be honest,
I will claim
if
Jacob
you met
Tovar.
my grandfather, you'd be shocked. He still says chicken nuggets for some reason.
Chicken nuggets are good. I like chicken nuggets myself.
He can barely. It's like, Grandpa, you've been here for how many years, and you still have the heaviest accent of all
My
time?
sister-in-law's been here for almost 20 years. She speaks no English. None.
I have a lot of family. I'll run into family members, and I'll be like,
She
oh
refuses to learn.
This is who is this person coming up to me, this Hispanic person coming up to me, and we'll be first cousins, and it just shocks me. So I have a massive Tovar is a big...
This is a partially Hispanic gentleman like myself, and so we're here.
Yeah.
We're here.
Well, it's cool that, and you got that influence as a child. I know that...
Big time.
I started off in church singing at 4. I mean, as soon as we couldn't crap ourselves, they had us in choir. And my mom sang second tenor.
Yeah.
So when we were little kids, she quit being in choir so she could sit down in church with us and keep us tame. And so we would always hear, coming from my mom, the craziest harmonies. And after a while, you start singing them, and suddenly the magic of harmony snaps in your brain, and you end up loving that stuff.
Yeah.
And
your ear finds a third or a fifth somewhere.
Or a 13th augmented.
Or a 7th if you're really good.
So, anyway, but you guys, it's one of the more professional sounding polishes on a band that is around right now. And the reason I'm saying that is because you guys, you faithfully follow some country rules, and your songs are structured in a way that they always burst alive. Your drummer is incredible.
Depending on which one you're talking about. I've played with a lot of drummers.
Which one would have been on that?
I will say this, Eric. Yep. Every drummer I play with, I think, is just absolutely incredible and unique in their own way.
Well, that's great.
It's just really incredible what they do.
Well, it takes a really good drummer to back up a vocalist as dynamic as yourself.
And they all listen, and that's the beautiful thing about it. And I'm very picky. They all tell me that I'm a little probably too picky. Apparently, I have a stare that I turn around and
and Tovar stare.
I don't think I do that, but my good buddy Paul Wilkes has said, "Oh, Tovar, yeah, you do that. If a note goes wrong, you immediately turn around and stare at the band and pick out who has done it." And I don't mean to do that. But
James Brown used to find
if they were doing that to me, it would be note after note wrong. So it's very unfair.
James Brown would find band members if they
I know.
Stepped out of line.
Prince took his lead on that and did the same thing.
Yeah, it's a real
And I would never do that. I can't. I am actually just lucky.
Not yet,
the brilliant guys that I get to play with, and I'm telling you, I could name off a list of players. Yeah. I mean, the guys. I got lucky to get to be a part of this Tulsa music scene and to play with these artists that I get to play with. And yet I am picky, and I do pick the ones that I want. And yes, they are, in my mind, the best in Tulsa. But you know what? They're just the best for my fit. There's so many amazing players in Tulsa that you can't pin down you can't pin down and say, all right, well, this guy's the best.
Right. Exactly.
Because some other guy comes in and does a whole different take on it. You know how many tunes I've done with people where I'm like, wow, I turn around to the drummer and I'm like, what a cool take. I didn't think we could go that direction, and we just went that direction. Thank you for letting me have that moment with you. And it's always that
Jake
artist
Lynn's name comes to mind when you say, what a cool take.
Jake Lynn.
Jake surprises me time and time again.
It's not. All right. Okay. Jake Lynn, and I have said this multiple times to him, is personally, like, Jake Lynn I don't know why you're not playing for Peter Gabriel or some massive world band. He needs to be in like a world band situation. But yet, what he's doing and what he's doing for the Tulsa music community and what he's doing with Jason Bowen and I mean, for the Texas music scene, what he's doing musically, the guy's so musically. It's like every now and then, and Cooper Wall's another one of them.
Yes, absolutely.
You reach down. I really feel like God goes, well, not with Cooper. Cooper, I think God touched Cooper and said, you're going to be great at everything you touch. And probably Jake Lynn too, but I definitely know that Jake Lynn, or that God touched
high
Jake
praise.
Lynn.
That is
and
high
goes,
praise.
God reached down and touched Jake Lynn and goes, all right, this is it. This is what you were going to be and do. You're going to be music. And he does that. Fulbright's another one.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
close friend of mine. And I really feel like God touched him and goes, look, music.
Yes,
Everything you touch,
absolutely.
music. Also, I think you'd be a genius actor. But, that's me in love with a friend.
Yeah, there's,
Well,
Well, he's just so good at everything.
to be a good performer
Yeah.
on stage, you are an actor.
Yes.
And that's the way that goes. Well, we are going to take a real quick break just so we can catch our breath. And we are going to be back in just a quick second or two.
Quick, give me a beer to slam.
yes, with
We're
Jacob
going to slam a
Tovar.
bear.
Don't go anywhere. It's
We'll
time
be-
to roll a joint and grab some munchies.
And so you guys watch this great B-roll
Yes.
stuff that we've prepared for you, and we'll be right back with the Tulsa Sound Podcast. Break.
A big old sun setting down 30 miles to the edge of town. A red tail flying high and not a worry in the sky. Driving to see a good friend of mine. I don't have that many now. Oh, the stories we could tell. Well, some are resting in the earth, and that's how I know it's worth driving to see a good friend of mine. If you can count your friends on one good hand, count yourself a lucky man. And lucky I am. Oh, lucky I am.
Oh, I like this one.
All right, welcome back to the Tulsa Sound Podcast. We are joined by Jacob Tovar, my co-host, Mr. Eric, otherwise known as the excommunicated Pope of Eaton Square.
Ladies and gentlemen,
God,
the
I'm all over
air
that.
just came on. We just paid the electric bill, and all right, so here we go. And take two.
All right, welcome back to the Tulsa Sound Podcast. I am your host, Oscar Padron. Joining me is Mr. Jacob Tovar and Mr. Eric, otherwise known as the excommunicated Pope of Eaton Square. Welcome back, guys. We are here.
Excellent.
Yes.
So, what have you got planned the rest of this summer as far as events, places you're playing?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. You're asking me that, Eric. Why'd you have to throw that one out? I have to think. I actually don't keep control of my calendar. I have a very lovely person who does that for me. But I will say this. I'm going to say this, and this is like very, in the future, but it's definitely happening because it's in the dates. I'm going to be headlining the Canes.
Wow.
December 22nd.
Congratulations.
And I've never done this before. And in fact, I never even thought I was the Christmas music fan that I am, but I will be doing a lot of Christmas music.
Oh, wonderful.
December 22nd, we're going to headline the Canes. I'm going to have a lot of special guests.
All right.
And we're going to do a big Christmas special. And it's going to be a lot of fun.
You're hearing it first.
And
you guys going to be waiting for the wagon?
The band that I have, no, that's not on there yet, but I'm still open. It's so early that I'm still open to suggestions.
Wagon,
but waiting
for the wagon. That comes at Christmas time.
You know,
well, there you go. That could
the
be,
Red Dirt Rangers had a Christmas show at Kane's Ballroom for almost 25 years.
20-some years, yeah.
And I'm so glad to hear that you're continuing the Red Dirt tradition
Kane's
of Christmas
hit me up
time
and
at the
asked me, and I was like, you know what? Let's do it. And I'll just say this. I won't name the names, but I have it's unbelievable the talented people that would like to play with me.
Wow.
But I have a
superstar band.
I have a superstar band playing with me.
That is incredible.
December 22nd, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to do a lot of Christmas music, and then at the end we'll probably do Tulsa music and jam. But I want to do an actual legitimate Christmas show, so that's the thing I'm looking forward to right now. I wish I was putting out another single or more music, but I'm not, and. What I'm doing around town, I have a lot of gigs around town. I have weeklies that I play at.
Yeah.
And then I just play all over, and I get hired a lot. I'll say this, I'm very blessed, and thank Lord Father Jesus Christ that I am blessed this way to be able to somehow make money playing music, because I know a lot of people that we all really try
There's
hard.
There's a lot of deferred dreamers out there.
Yeah, it's very hard to get to a point where I can make a living with music like I would make a living. I'm not a highly educated man or anything like that, so every job that I've had, I make just as much money playing music than any job that I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
And I'm very thankful for God for that. So if I can keep that going, the one happy thing one thing I'm looking forward to, the big project that I have in mind is this December 22nd deal. I know this is early to talk about it, but
it's not really.
It's not early
because
why not perfect time to talk
You're
about
not very familiar with our editing schedule, are you?
See Jacob Tovar at the Canes Ballroom.
No, I'm not familiar with the
show on by
schedule.
next year, buddy.
Yeah. You know, I spent 5 years at the Canes Ballroom myself.
Yeah.
I worked for Larry Schaefer.
There was a small door under the stage. They called him the Gimp.
Well, others on the crew were definitely that. But I spent 5 years there as a monitor engineer, and it was a great.
I know we had to have worked together at least a couple times.
That was before. Well, that was in.
You remember that night you had really bad monitor mix?
Oh my gosh!
It was from 96 to
Sorry.
97 that I was there at the ball.
Oh hell no!
Yeah, it was back
96, 97. No.
No.
I was in Guyman, Oklahoma, working on a hawk.
He was watching Thomas the Tank Engine.
This was before the remodel.
I know that was whoa. That was not Thomas the Tank Engine back there. In 96, 97, I was out on a hog farm in Guyman, Oklahoma. I'll never forget it. Yeah.
Oh man, it's hard work.
My initials are out there somewhere.
There you go. Yeah. Well, how do you find time to write with a schedule and a full time as music is your full time
I suck at it pretty bad. Yeah, I suck at it pretty bad. Like writing. You mean writing new music?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's a very big. I'm not the best at it. I find that I'll say. Man, it's so hard being an artist. Man, you guys are really good at getting the truth out of people, huh? All right. Truth is,
that's because
I feel
we
like
are
I'm a
trained investigators.
You will talk. You will talk.
Well, I know from my.
Well, no, I'm saying So I feel like a strength of mine is very much in arranging. I love arranging.
Yeah.
Definitely vocally arranging as well. And then I get lucky every now and then, and I have a lyric that pops in my head that somehow, comes into a song. But I've never considered myself a songwriter. Not like what I look up to. The Bo Robersons around town, Jesus, John Fulbright's, everybody. Man, Paul Benjamin's writing is just brilliant. Jesse Aycock. Jared Tyler. There's so many. There's too many good ones to name off. In fact, if I didn't name you off, I apologize, but you're amazing. And it's intimidating to be around that. But what I do find that I'm very good at it is arranging. So I arrange a lot of things to fit my vocal pattern, melodies. I like to write melodies as well.
That's good.
So I most things when people say, whose song was that? It's a lot of times because I've changed the melody so much that they wonder where it came from.
Yeah,
But that's just being an artist. You have to make it your own.
Deep within my heart lies a melody. That's for certain. That is
Good
for
Bob
certain.
Wills quote.
Well, we
Actually, I have that tattooed on my chest.
Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen! And ladies and gentlemen, we actually had to see that. And I guess if you get on the internet, I don't know how you can see it, but you can see it. It's a very, very beautiful breast. It's a very beautiful breast.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need to go scoop my eyes out with a spoon. I'll be right back.
I'm going to smoke more weed on that, right? And try to forget that I saw that.
I used to work with a
It's a very attractive nipple, by the way. Areola, whatever.
I used to work with a singer, and he was a poet. Basically, he was a writer like that. He would just have stuff laying around.
Yeah.
But I've also worked with people that just, when it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
And I think that either way, if it's a good song, it doesn't matter how it gets born.
It's so crazy how that happens. Sometimes
Brandon Jenkins was that way.
really
He was
lucky,
prolific at writing. He wrote all the time.
It blows my mind.
He wrote all
blows
the time.
my mind. Zach Bryan, good guy, awesome guy. Man, he used to come out to the Mercury all the time. I think he still comes out to the Mercury every now. No, he's huge, but he's a prolific writer. I mean,
huge. He just sold out 2 shows at the BOK Center.
Yeah, and my buddy's got.
We
to
couldn't
be
be
part
prouder.
Of it. Everything he's doing for Tulsa and everything. I mean, awesome guy. I love it.
Of course, Eric and I are production.
But he
is
I hear the stuff he cranks out, and it's very impressive, man. He just keeps cranking it out. And he's just one of those prolific writers.
We're certainly happy for his success.
Yeah, definitely. Wink Burcham. I know everybody's got to know Wink Burcham. I mean, gosh, that guy is a writer, a writer's writer.
What Scott Evans said about Wink Burcham is that he's the real deal.
Unbelievable, man.
And that is a heavy compliment coming from Scott
I'll tell you a story. Can I tell a story about Wink Burcham real quick?
That's what the Tulsa Sound Podcast is all about. Telling stories and showing titties. So go right ahead. Feel free.
Again?
Telling stories and stories.
I see you got those poppy buttons on that.
We haven't seen Wink Burcham much lately, though. I haven't seen him around town for the last
Are we just battling
year or so. Well,
Jacob's going to tell a story.
No. I don't want to battle each other. I want Oscar to go. It's his podcast.
Well, no,
Shit, I'm just here.
We mentioned Wink, and I thought, man, I haven't seen him around in a while. I know he's a new family, he's a new father, and we are certainly anxious to see his return to the Tulsa music scene. Triumphant return
again?
No.
Well, last summer he was a new father.
Whoa! You gotta. I immediately thought he had another kid. I was like, damn! I didn't even know about that. No, I'm teasing. I know Wink very well. He's like a brother of mine. I love him to death. And I'll say, as a songwriter, here's a good example of like people that are blessed with being songwriters and people that are not. I feel like I'm falling into the category of not, and Wink definitely is. And Wink, one night, and I wish the son of a bitch was here right now to retell this story, because he would correct everything I'm going to make cool about the story. He'd be like, "That's actually not what happened. Tovar thought that's what happened, but I'm going to tell you right now what's happened, and we can retell it later when you get him back on. When you bring him here."
Yes, we'd love to have you on the show, Wink.
In my mind, we had finished a gig. We get back to my house. Wink's going to spend the night with me. It's about 3 a.m. Wink and I are not stopping. We're still drinking. My kids wake up because they hear us out there, and we're kind of having a good time. And I got 2 boys at the time. And, I know, what were they, like 9 and 7 or something? Babies.
4 and 2.
No, definitely not 4 and 2. Let's not say that. I'm going 9 and 7. I'm going 9 and 7.
Do I have 14 and 6?
I'm going 9 and 7.
1 and 5.
9 and 7. And they woke up and they heard us. They were Jamie, I guarantee you they were older because they were fast little shits. This is how the whole story fucking come about. Because Jamie, honey, I love you to death. 18 years of marriage, but I'm 18 years of marriage, and you're wrong about this. Well, talk to Wink. He'll tell you the truth, though. Okay, here we go. So we show up. We're outside drinking, raising hell, whatever. My boys are up. They wake up. They come out. They're like, "Daddy, Uncle Wink." They called Wink Uncle Wink. And they're like, "What are you guys doing?" And Uncle Wink is like the best with kids.
Yeah.
I mean, amazing with kids. I'm not. I very much go back to my childhood. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing awake? Get your asses back to bed right now. Wink's very much like, guys, what are you guys doing? You guys want to hang out? You want to play a game of tag? Right? You know, like Wink brings up, you know, we're like, we start playing a game of tag in my front yard. I fucking fall over in a fucking pothole, twist my shoulder out of place. Wink runs around, has a blast. Wake up next morning, no shit. We run him down. Wink's smart. He was like, let's run him down and they'll go back to sleep. He was smart, like I'm saying. He's a good daddy.
Yeah.
So he runs him down. They immediately go back to sleep with mama. And I go to sleep with mama as well. Anyways, wake up the next day. Doesn't even matter. Wink passes out on the couch. Wake up the next day. I go into the living room, about to cook breakfast and do the whole deal. And Wink goes, hey, man, Jacob. Oh, my gosh, I'm tearing up. You got to hear this. You got to hear this new song I just wrote. What do you think about it? And he played me Weren't We Made to Laugh? And I was like, oh, my God. That's what you got out of playing tag last night?
Wow.
Like, you wrote Weren't We Made to Laugh? And all I got is a dislocated shoulder.
Man.
With no song ideas. And he woke up in the middle. I'm in the middle of making bacon. And he goes, Jacob, check this out. I wrote this song about last night. And played me Weren't We Made to Laugh? And I broke down bawling. Hell, you can tell now. Does this have to be a part of it?
Well,
I don't like the
warts and
camera.
all. Here we are.
Yeah.
Real
Words are
emotions.
fine, but yeah, real
Tulsa
emotions.
Sound Podcast.
Anyways,
Bring it to you.
you know, I don't know if you know that song, but damn, I can't. I wish I could sing it to you right now, but I can't because I'm tearing up. But anyways, that's a songwriter. Is what I'm saying. Is the
I
guys
think that song
channel
will be
that
playing
like
in the
that.
background of this story.
We can find that.
Oh my
Absolutely.
gosh.
It's amazing.
Yeah, amazing. And
Well-
I got a broken shoulder out of it, and he
And-
got a song.
Again, high compliments about Wink from Scott
Oh,
Evans.
God.
You know,
Incredible.
Scott Evans had nothing but good things to say, and he was very serious when he was telling me about his opinions about Wink.
Well, I got a lot of bad things to say. If you want me to say some bad things,
Oh, well, this is a family
that's
podcast.
your cue to push one of those buttons. Yeah, like, I could throw him under the bus all day long if that's where we're going. But since he's my brother and I love the shit out of him, I'm only going to speak what I love.
Riding it in.
Love that son of a bitch. Love him.
Beautiful. Well, I tell you what, we're gonna kick here. We're gonna play you a couple of songs, and then we're gonna be back in a couple of minutes with Jacob. Got
Are you
some
serious?
more questions.
We're coming
Yeah.
back?
We're coming back.
I
We're
think it's a good idea to come back.
Book in this
I
whole
don't think
thing.
it's a good idea to come back.
Hey, audience, you want him to come back?
I don't think it's a good idea to come back,
All
Jerry.
right, good deal. Well, we will be right back, so stay tuned. This is the Tulsa Sound Podcast. All right.
What is
was that?
happening?
About 20 And we're back. Tulsa Sound Podcast. Coming back with you one more time with Jacob Tovar here in the studio with us. He's going to play us a song, and we're going to enjoy it. Before we do that, I want to remind everybody, subscribe and like. There's a little subscribe thing down.
Please.
Somewhere. Hit that subscribe. Smash the
that.
like
Where
button.
is that?
So that's on YouTube. It's a YouTube thing.
There's actually not.
Subscribing smash.
I've never seen it.
Yes.
I've never seen the subscribe thing.
Anyway, well, it's on there, and we want y'all to hit it because it helps us be more popular.
Yes,
and
subscribe
the
to
more
the
popular
show.
we are, the better shows we do.
It's a free show.
Yes,
Why
it's
wouldn't you
all about being
subscribe?
popular.
Well,
We'll
you
bring it
know,
to your door.
We are looking at a new sponsor, but I can't mention their name right now.
Scooters Boat Rentals out of Sand Springs has agreed to sponsor the show.
That's right,
recently.
Scooters, yeah. And
Do they do jet skis and other things?
Well,
or
they
is it
do
just
a
boats?
tour from Sand Springs to West Tulsa. It's a
It's,
lovely riverboat tour.
there's a 455 horsepower double bumping full large block Chevy engine mounted with a 75-inch prop.
GRDA approved.
You ought to see us when we hit the rapids down there at New Block Park. That boat flies through the air like a dang Batmobile.
She can pull 2 skiers.
Oh, swear to God. Right across the sand. Anyway, folks, hit like and subscribe. All right. Well, that was our comedy stick for the night. So, you've got a thing on Thursday nights that you do?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oscar,
Guys,
why don't you tell us
Come
about it?
out to Frasser Hall, downtown
Frasser
Tulsa.
Hall?
Frasser Hall.
Frasser
Yeah,
Hall.
try the bratwurst. It's good. It's good. The beer's good. Great sound system. Wonderful engineer in there. I met the guy last week,
Yeah?
and he was a delight, actually.
Wow, what's his name?
So I forgot. Connor's his name.
Connor, yeah.
Yes.
Connor's
Connor
great.
Ross?
He's actually on the call
Related
list.
to Johnny Molnix.
Oh,
Young guy with curly hair?
Yes,
Johnny
curly-haired
Molnix,
engineer.
another
Connor
unbelievable
Ross.
artist that you have to go
Another one of
see.
So
Our
Johnny's been
boys.
sitting in with you out there on Thursdays?
Johnny's been my boy for a little bit right now, and it's just wonderful. I mean, gosh.
Well, can we talk
I mean,
about the
it's,
Sunday brunch for a second?
Yes, you can. What do you want to say about that?
Well, what do you want to say about
Just-
it? Because
it is,
everybody
yeah.
and their dog's been showing up down
It's
there.
the party, man.
Man, it is
Okay,
a
first of all,
collaborative.
the lineup of music. First of all, Johnny Molnix, have to watch him.
Thomas
Have
Trapp.
to go see him. Thomas Trapp, have to see him. I mean, flat picker. I mean, one of the greatest. I mean, and just unbelievably talented musician and a beautiful human being. And I mean, I don't even understand. I mean, this guy's so talented, it's ridiculous. But anyways, yes, they, a part of that band. Jake Lynn's a part of it. I mean, gosh, Paul Wilkes on
This
on
is
bass.
Mercury Lounge?
Jordan Hale's been
Mercury
sitting
Lounge,
in.
Jordan Hale sits in every time. Well, either way, it's always a good band. Every
Different fiddle players. It seems
Yeah.
like every
Yeah.
week.
Sunday.
Different mandolin
Yeah.
players have been
Starts in the
filtering in and out.
afternoon.
Andrew Barrett sitting in on keys. I mean,
12 to
just
3
like-
at Sundays.
12 to 3.
Yeah, 18th
So you
and
guys
So
Bronx.
get
it's
there earlier,
very,
you'll
that's a
miss it.
good. So about that is a great way to. If I was out of town, if I had met, somebody comes in and says, "Hey, Tovar, what should I go see?" That's one of my first ones that I'm going to be like, "Hey, I want you to go see it," because it's that particular couple hours at Mercury,
Oh,
the
it's
Bluegrass Brunch, is so
unbelievable.
inviting and welcoming, saying, "Hey, this is what the Tulsa music sounds like," because Johnny Molnix is so good about. He always has a lot of guests up too, so he does a variety. It's like almost a variety of things that happen on that Sunday, and you never know what's going to happen. You never know. What's
So
gonna
the
happen.
Bluegrass
Paul
Brunch.
Benjamin's been doing it forever, right?
Right, Thursday
He's been
nights.
doing no. I mean, Paul Benjamin's also Thursdays, but I mean, Paul Benjamin's doing that same thing on the Sunday night thing forever, right?
Yeah, at the Colony.
That's another
It's a
thing I would say.
collaborative
That's a
jam.
Tulsa
It's
thing. You
something
have
that's
to
uniquely Tulsa.
You
that
have to go see. It's very unique Tulsa because you never know who's going to sit in.
No.
Paul started that like, hey,
12
let's-
years
yeah.
now. He's been doing it for 12.
No, 13, brother.
13.
13,
I
yeah,
thought it was
13,
12.
yeah.
13 years.
Yeah.
One of the fabulous things about, and I'll go ahead and toot Johnny's horn because
Yeah.
I read this recently. Tulsa World said that the most popular tourist attraction in the state right now is the Bluegrass Brunch at the
Yeah.
Mercury Lounge. Now,
Not even
this
teasing.
is,
It is.
no,
It
this
really
is true. This has been voted over the Pioneer Woman up in
Oh,
and
You're kidding me.
over Frontier City in Oklahoma City and the new
hell yeah, Johnny.
over the
Did you hear
gathering
that
place.
shit?
So the Bluegrass
Where's
Brunch
your-
starring Johnny Molnix
Yeah,
has
there you
been
go.
voted the
That needed to
number
happen.
one tourist attraction in the state over the gathering place, over that Pioneer Woman and her gravy.
Pioneer
Come on
Woman.
now.
You are fucking
Get
joking,
down
though, right?
No,
Is this
I'm
just a
very
joke?
serious. No, this is true. And if you know,
God damn,
Pioneer
John, I
woman
didn't
knew what
know
was
that.
good for her, she would
Props
send some
to you,
chicken
brother.
fried steak down there to that brunch
fucking awesome,
for everybody.
Oh gosh, I've had a little bit too much drink.
But
I'm
I
throwing
just,
out
you
the
know, we
F-bomb.
wanted to
Yeah.
celebrate that
Apologize.
fact, and this is
Apologize,
news. This is real news.
Brother
And,
Leon, why don't you play us a song now?
absolutely.
Oh yeah, you know what about that? I was gonna go all deep and serious and play one.
Yeah.
It was just ridiculously deep and sick and wrong and not sick.
do that.
It's not sick. Sad.
do that.
Sad. I meant
Let's
sad.
do that.
So one of these that I did, I will say, one time I had in my life, I was mowing my lawn. My brother had died. Died, and what was this, Jamie? My wife's in the studio as well, ladies and gentlemen. What was that? Months later, then I came up with this while I was mowing the lawn. 2 months later, I'm like, that's why you have a beautiful person in your life. Everybody, remember that. Have one time in your life, have an amazing person in your life, because they remember stuff like that you'll never
There you go.
you'll never
Yeah.
remember. Yeah, and they they allow you to keep living, I guess, or they keep you living.
Keep you from
They keep
forgetting.
you living. They keep
This
you
is known
living.
as help on the way.
Yeah, they keep you living is what I'm trying to say. Anyways, yeah, so about 2 months in, and I was mowing, and this entire song came to me, and I was like, oh gosh, I better run inside real quick and do it. And it's highly emotional. I apologize about that, and I apologize that I'll probably tear up a little bit. But I'm also highly stoned, and I think
better
I'm
way-
pretty drunk as well, to be honest. And I think to be drunk enough, I think I'm a little out of tune too as well, and
you're
it's
fine.
pissing me off that I'm out of tune. All right, here we go. But I think I'm a little out of tune. I think my B's off. That's gonna drive me nuts, boys. Said I'm sorry that I didn't see it come. Thought faith was gonna pull me through, but I was wrong, so wrong, and I couldn't believe that I would lose you. I see we were raised a little different. Now you were told since you were 2. See that boy over there, he's your brother. On where he goes, you go too. And I thank God for every moment I got with you. And I hate it, but I curse him too. And I know it's not a fair world, but damn, I miss you. Now I've been thinking about the times we fought and argued, and man, I wish we never did. But I'd give anything in this world to see that look again. How I worry about your beautiful daughter, the kind of life she's gonna have to live, that the voice of her father on the love you were meant to give. I thank God for every moment I got with you, and I hate it, but I curse him too. And I know it's not a fair world, but damn, I miss you. Said I'm sorry that I didn't see it coming. I thought faith was gonna pull you through, but I was wrong, so wrong, and I couldn't believe that I would lose you. Oh. Ah. Yeah.
Mercy.
That was fun. Thank you for letting me do that.
Well, thank you for doing it for us. That is incredible. What a touching
Fabulous.
song.
Yeah.
What a touching song. It seems like.
Yeah. Apologize. I told you I was going to
No,
get teary.
no.
To your brother, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you
Yeah.
know, everybody experiences loss. I think that all those.
Oh, no,
of
my
us-
niece is wonderful, by the way. I just want you to know that. Yeah.
Well, that's-
God, definitely.
That's good
Yeah.
to know.
That was right after I didn't know everything. You know.
Well,
I apologize about even that line. That line kind of.
No, never
I won't
apologize.
say doing that line because she's.
We
so,
don't apologize here at
she's
the
so,
Tulsa Sound Podcast.
She's so set up and beautiful, wonderful.
We let our big roll ride here at the Tulsa Sound Podcast. We don't apologize.
we don't apologize for
always
anything.
let your big roll ride.
And we are
That's a
just
quote from
so
Bill
glad
Davis.
to have had you on today. You've
Glad
been
to
one
drink
of the
with you.
Well, you've been one of the most honest people here, and you've had a good time. I know we've
That's
talked a
no fault.
lot. I know we've kind of talked all over each other a little bit on this episode, but you know what? Tough it, because that's the way we roll it, baby. But really, I mean,
Yeah.
thanks so much for coming around, and I know that I could not encourage people more to go and see you perform.
Please, guys, get out
Oh
and
no,
see
it's not
Jacob
that.
Tovar.
You know, I wouldn't.
Well,
This is a humble
don't
musician.
listen-
Unless
don't
you have
listen
nothing
to
else
the
to do.
talents. No,
I mean,
don't-
if you
don't
don't
listen
have
to the
anything else to do,
Take
come
it
on.
to take it from
Get a
somebody
babysitter.
that worked
Come
at
on,
Dog
Eric.
Patch
Get a
USA.
babysitter.
Definitely
Go out
not
and
worth a
see
babysitter,
Jacob
but
Tovar.
definitely not get a babysitter.
Oh, he's
no
definitely-
babysitters.
he's
They're very
babysitter
expensive
worthy.
these days.
Bring the
Definitely.
dog. Bring
I will
grandma.
say, if you do come,
Ladies, get the Brazilian
bring
before
the
you
cash
see
that you were
Jacob
going to
Tovar.
tip the babysitter
You're
in.
going to be
and-
glad
yeah,
you got the Brazilian.
Other than
before.
that,
Honky
please do not
tonk
come out.
night.
It's pretty much, it's awful.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Love you
I
all,
don't
though.
know what else to say, but I think we've
Catch
said
Jacob
it all.
Tovar around
We love
town.
you
Catch
so
him at
much.
the Cain's Ballroom.
Jacob Tovar
We
with us
love you,
today.
Jacob
Coming to the
Tovar.
Cain's Ballroom. He's standing up. We're almost done.
Eric,
Thank you, sir. God bless you,
Otis.
sir. All right,
Otis.
folks. We will see you again on the Tulsa
Oscar,
Sound
look what happened, Otis. I
Podcast.
smoked some weed, and now I can't remember your phone.
Oh, my God.
I said Oscar. I said Oscar.